Another thing that we can do with Discovery Ed is to create a probe. Creating a probe is very similar. It's basically just creating a test. Over here at My DE Services, from the main page, you click on that and you have Assessment. When you click that Assessment tab, you have some options, and this tab also we will use when we are looking at the benchmark assessments and where we are assigning the assessments to students. But down here at the bottom, or in the middle rather, I'm sorry, you have information about the benchmark there. That's where we can view the reports. We also have the progress zone, and an option here is to create a probe. You can view your probes and your probe library once you have some made. You can also access the probe library, and this library, these are people from our school, our county, maybe even further out than that have created probes. You can create or edit test questions, and then you can also access the item library. I'm going to choose to create a probe. When I click there, it takes me to the setup. It's a 4-step process. First, we set up the probe. We're going to enter the probe name. I'm going to call this numeration, and it's going to be numeration for 2nd grade. So obviously this is going to be a math probe. Over here I select the subject. I'm going to have this one be mathematics. I'm going to select my grade level. I have chosen to do 2nd. And the skill set. Since 2nd grade has gone completely to Common Core, I'm going to choose that as the skill set. We have a choice of the types of items that are offered to us as the questions: easy, moderate, and hard. I tend to leave all 3 of those because I like to have a variety, and you get to choose whether you use the question or not. In the item banks, I like to keep all of these. Items added by me, items added by my school, district, and then those put in by Discovery Ed. You can choose to use this, and you may want to, especially if you make lots of probes where you include only unused items so that you're not repeating. This down here, some more options. Select the number of attempts per item. If you assign this probe to your students, which we can even access and take Discovery Ed probes on iPads. So if you think that you may be using this as an online tool, you can decide, do you want them to have one shot at it and either they get it right or they don't, or are you going to give them 2 tries? If they miss it the first time, then they get that 2nd try. And should remedial content be available to students? If you assign a probe online and after they take it, they get immediate feedback, and if you make the remedial content available, then it gives them access to videos and some activities on Discovery Ed, things that are inside Discovery Ed, to remediate those skills or the question types that they did not pass. So that's up to you as well. Okay, go to step 2 in creating a probe, and we select the skills. Now, since I chose 2nd grade math, I have all of the Common Core standards that are available in Discovery Ed for 2nd grade math. Since I said that this was going to be a numeration test, I have lots of choices. I could choose to do only word problems, or I could also have word problems and addition and subtraction. But I want them to also be able to do this. See, if I'm doing numeration, I want to be sure they have that number sense. Perhaps some of these would be good choices, perhaps some wouldn't. Multiples of hundreds. using the hundreds chart, I believe that says, although it does say there are 0 items in that one. Skip counting, representation of numbers. I think that's what this particular test is going to be, and I probably should give it a better name. So those are the only 2 skills that I'm choosing to assess using this probe. So I've chosen my skills, and I go down here to Next, and then it gives me choices. With this, tens, and tens is a unit, oh, and the 100, I'm sorry, not the hundreds chart, I get to look and decide, do I like any of these? Do I want to use any of these? I like that one. It's an easy question, but that's okay. I choose to use that. Oh, I like this one also. So you go through and you look at them and you decide with much more care than I just did. Boy, that wasn't many. I still want some more choices. So this save selection and get more items. When I click that, it keeps the ones that I chose, but it gives me many more choices this time. There are base 10 blocks with an addition problem. So let's pretend that I've picked all of the questions that I want. I come down here to the bottom. See, I asked for more selections, and it certainly gave me many more. Oh, number lines. I'm going to pick one more. And I click Next. This is letting me preview my probe. This is the last step. I selected the items in step 3. Now I'm previewing. I look through. If there's one that I do not like, I can change it. I chose 6 questions. And it's safe to say that if you are wanting to assess a skill, if you ask 3 questions on that topic, you can get a pretty good assessment as to whether or not they're proficient if they can get 2 out of 3. 3 is really the smallest number to get a true assessment of whether or not they're proficient. So finally I save and exit. And that probe went into my library of my probes. Now, I have several pages of probes because I have enjoyed making probes for years. I have 5 pages. Some people have probably 50. Once you have your probe, you have to find it. So I'm going to look for this probe by grade because I know it's 2nd grade. And mathematics numeration, there it is. When I select it over here, I can choose to preview it. This is what it will look like if you print it. If you've ever used Discovery Ed probes, you know it takes a lot of paper to print those. And then the other option that you will have, and I don't have it right now because I do not have a 2nd grade class set up, but you can assign this probe to your students. Since you have your classes set up in Discovery Ed, you can just assign and you click the students that you want to take this probe. And as I was saying, once they log in and they take the probe, at the end it gives them immediate feedback. And if you left that choice checked that they could have remedial activities, they can click on certain activities at the end of the probe.